This one.
Call this October meeting of the County Commission to order. At this point in time, I'd like to ask if Commissioner Barb Sturgeon would lead us in the pledge, lead us in the prayer, followed by David Landrum, lead us in the pledge.
Stand.
Everyone stand, please.
Dear Lord, I would like to pray for not only your protection, but also your wisdom tonight. First, I'd like to pray for, we lost a commissioner last week, Commissioner Lou Green, and I would like to pray for his family and thankfulness to God for the many years that he was able to serve us. I'd also like to pray for all those with health issues, facing medical procedures, possibly surgery, and particularly wisdom. I would like to read some scriptures on wisdom. It says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and all who follow his precepts have good understanding. If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you." From Philippians, "Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about these things. Whatever you have learned or received or heard from me or seen in me, put it into practice, and the God of peace will be with you." Let us say the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
To the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Next is roll call. If you would mark yourself present. Ms. Anderson, would you mark the roll?
21 present, 2 absent, Commissioner Walton and Commissioner Ryan.
Okay, we've heard from Commissioner Ryan. Have we heard from Commissioner? Walton?
I've not heard from Ryan.
Okay. All right, so 21 present.
That's correct.
Thank you. At this time, we'll accept approval for the minutes.
Second.
Are there any corrections or additions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next is citizens' communications. Okay, we have
2.5 minutes each.
11 speakers signed up. Our rules call for 30 minutes divided by the number of people, so that will be approximately 2.5 minutes per person. We will keep a time on it up here, and we'll warn you when it's close. If you would, step up to the microphone, state your name and your address, and then address the commission. First is Daniela Kuntz.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Daniela Kuntz. I live at 132 Cavalry Drive, Franklin, Tennessee. I've been here before, and I know we have so many others who have signed up, but I have been advocating for indoor air quality and safer chemicals in schools for students' safety. And with the phase one for Page, I really would like you to approve that. It's overdue because the building is very old, and they had even to resort to portables. And we know that the indoor air is not healthy for occupants for a prolonged time. And I also sent an email and gave you some more information and some links about the health implications with older buildings and the portables. So I really urge you to please approve the phase one funding request for the Page community. That's all. Thank you.
Stephen Convorkian.
My name is Stephen Kevorkian. I live at 6722 Arnhem-Alasona Road, College Grove, Tennessee. I'm a senior at Page High School. As I'm sure you all know, Page High School opened in 1975, more than 40 years ago. My mother graduated from Page in 1995. My little sister and I are both students, obviously, and I have another sister who will be attending Page Middle next year. Currently, as I'm sure you know, Page has the smallest capacity of second smallest capacity of any Williamson County school. But the student body is within 100 students of that limit. Fairview, who has the smallest capacity, is about 60% filled, while Page High is about 95% filled. Furthermore, Page Middle is almost 200 students over capacity, and Page High is expected to be above capacity in the next couple of years. While Page High is a fantastic school with an amazing staff, it is not without its problems. Many students are currently unable to drive to school due to a lack of parking, which puts an extra burden on the parents of students, especially those whose children participate in extracurricular activities. And this issue is not one that's going to solve itself. Every year, the freshman class size has been increasing, resulting in a larger sophomore and junior class in the following years, which adds more drivers than the seniors who are graduating. Inside the school, there are also many difficulties. When the school was built, the hallways were built to accommodate about 1,000 students. And even though the expansion in the 1990s pushed that capacity to 1,215, none of the old building was expanded. They just added more room. So the old hallways are now backed up, and it makes it hard for students to get to their classes every day on time because a bunch of the students end up stuck at one spot in the hallway, which prevents them from getting to class when they need to. And once they get to class, there's a whole new set of problems that arise. Though Page has a great science program, there's not nearly enough classrooms with lab equipment to accommodate the need, which means teachers and students are constantly having to move rooms, adding unnecessary stress on both. Last year, my AP Psychology class was taught in a garage. And many of our classes, such as personal finance, are having to be taught in dark, windowless rooms, which is not conducive to a good learning environment for students. The freshman history class is currently being taught in the football field house, where the football players get ready before games, and it's just not helping our students learn. Page High School has everything it needs to be a fantastic place for students to learn and grow, as long as the facilities are allowed to grow with it. I urge you all to please vote in favor of the Page High expansion budget, and I thank you for your time.
Riley Morin.
My name is Riley Marlin, and I live at 6586 U Daly Covington Road, College Grove, Tennessee. I am also a senior at Page High School, and I have attended Page all 4 years, and I absolutely love it. The community environment is awesome, and it really makes students feel like they're at home. Although I know that being a senior means that I won't directly benefit from the funding, but I wanted to speak because I have two siblings at Page with me, a sophomore sister and a freshman brother. I also have a 5th grade sister who will be at Page Middle School next year, so my family will benefit from the funding. My mother attended Page, and so did my 2 uncles and my aunt, so we were excited to go to the same school as them. Page is a great school, but it's also one of the oldest functioning high schools in Williamson County, and due to its age, funding is needed to update and expand our school. Our population is increasing by the minute, with each graduating class being bigger than the last. and we don't have the space needed or resources to efficiently accommodate these new students. I've heard that the first phase of Resolution 1017-1 will include an ingress-egress road and more parking. This is greatly needed as parking as it is limited, and many sophomores who are able to drive cannot drive to school due to limited parking. It also takes about 15 minutes to get out of the parking lots in the afternoons, making many students late for after-school appointments or jobs, and also, as he said, like extracurricular activities like sporting events can also as a problem with that. In addition, at after-school events such as plays and sporting events, there is not enough parking, which kind of like infringes upon the community welcoming feeling that Page normally is known for. I really believe that the funding wanted to expand our parking lots and put another road through can decrease the congestion at Page, aid the overall expansion, and continue the Page family feeling for future generations. Thank you so much for considering this, and we are very grateful to you for taking your time to do so.
Natalie Dinkins.
I am Natalie Dinkins. I live at 204 Terry Parkway, Franklin, Tennessee. I'm also a senior at Page High School, surprise. Most know that Page is very small, and so I think a lot of people consider that because it's so small we don't need expansion, but we're meant for such a smaller population than we already have. The building is just intended for so much less. Our cafeteria holds about 450 students if every single seat is taken, and we have almost about 1,200 students in our student body. So each of our 2 lunch periods has about 150 displaced students spilling out into the hallways. And for most schools, that's something that's not as much of a big deal because they have more open space, but because we're so compact, we run into a lot of problems. I have to actually kind of step over people to get to my lunch, which is kind of just a testament to how in general we're just kind of compacted. And what about teachers? If you think about what teachers need to teach, a lot of them, first they need students, but you also need classrooms. And so many of our teachers, as Stephen was mentioning, have to bounce back and forth between classrooms because we just don't have the space. I have a teacher whose classroom is a whiteboard because she has to just wheel it between classes, and that is her state. And that kind of makes it feel kind of chaotic in a classroom. The list kind of goes on. We have bathrooms with 3 stalls and lines going out the door just because it's meant for a smaller population. So I know time is limited, so I don't need to continue the list, I feel. But I guess it just goes to show that our problems are due to just outgrowing our school. I know Phase 1 mainly deals with the external aspects of that, like the parking lot and the athletic fields, but I think we really need to push this proposition through so we can deal with the internal struggles because a lot of our issues is fitting so many people into the school. And I don't mean to complain or suggest that I don't love my school because I do. I love the teachers who sacrifice their time and energy all the time, and I love the students who dedicate themselves to their work and who come out to things like this. But because I love them so much, I feel as though they deserve more. They deserve improvement from a building that was built in the 70s. And so just thank you so much for your attention, your time, and your open minds to this proposition.
Zach Gaspy.
Hello, my name is Zach Gaspy. I live at 2262 Scott Drive, Franklin, Tennessee. I'm an 11th grade student at Page High School, and I'd like to bring up some points to mention when deciding if Page needs more funding for much-needed equipment and improvements to help the physical environment of Page High School. The first point I'd like to bring up is health. We've had 2 gas leaks in the past 4 years at Page High School. There are currently 1,194 students, and we have 2 lunches, approximately splitting the lunches into 600 students per lunch. We only have 300 seats in the cafeteria, which means that 300 students are left sitting on the floor or in the hallways during lunch. We've had 9 cases of pneumonia within staff members in the last year, and the air quality is yet to be tested since the systems have been put in a while ago. Teachers being sick makes our quality of learning go down. Raw sewage comes up in classrooms during heavy rain periods. The main entrance smells like sewage when it rains. Bathroom sinks don't work, causing kids to spread sickness faster. My second point is the school itself. Bathrooms are still designed for middle school size students. 10-foot wide hallways are mostly used around the school. The 100 hallway, which is our first original hallway within the school, is 7 feet wide, which doesn't fit high schoolers of our size. The roof leaks when it rains. Some teachers don't have permanent classrooms, causing them to teach and move around all day, not having a permanent classroom. The bells cannot be heard all the way throughout the school, and the number of students in general are just outgrowing the school itself. Now, the education part. Certain teachers don't have a constant classroom, like I said before. Career technical classrooms, outdated. For example, the art and animal science, which Page is the only school at Williamson County that has an ag program, share a wood shop for their classroom. We have outdated science equipment, which does not allow us to learn at the same capacity as newer schools within Williamson County. And like my fellow classmates have said earlier, freshman history class is taught in the football locker room. I'd like to thank you guys for your time.
Lanny Van Treese.
I'm Lainey Van Treese. I live at 2213 Hayward Lane, and I am a junior at Page High School. As a student and volleyball player specifically, I've experienced the realization that our athletics facilities specifically aren't up to the caliber of other Williamson County schools. The ring staff gym, as well as the weight room, doesn't have air conditioning most of the time. Our locker rooms are small, and we have frequent issues with plumbing, such as sinks coming out with brown water and toilets being backed up. We also have air quality issues all across the board in ring staff and the hallways, as well as bathrooms. On a different note, inside the actual school, we have very small hallways that are crowded. We have to have 2 lunches because our cafeteria doesn't fit all of our students. We have heavy traffic, not enough parking. We have sewage issues, plumbing, and the air quality within the school is struggling very bad right now. Aside from overcrowding and the other problems that I've mentioned, the Page High community is a great one, but it's one that's continually growing and needs the renovations and extra space to help keep it great. Thank you for your time.
Liz Kramer.
Good evening. My name is Liz Kramer, and I reside at 330 Applecross Drive in Franklin. Though we are not zoned for Page, my 3 boys have all attended there, with my youngest one being a current junior. I want to thank the Education and Budget Committee members for passing the intent to fund both the Page Middle and High School expansions and renovations. I am hopeful that the full vote will pass tonight and we can begin moving forward with Phase 1. I stand here tonight not angry, not yelling, not pointing fingers, not telling you why we should get the money and other schools should not, or why we deserve it. I'm not placing blame on how we got here or why we are here. I stand here tonight simply saying that this is where we are. Page High is full and the buildings are outdated and in dire need of renovations. The middle school is dangerously overcrowded. I am not demanding the need for these 2 campuses. The students are not demanding the needs for these campuses. The teachers are not demanding the needs. What is demanding the need for the funding is growth in the county and the old and neglected facilities. That is data that is both unemotional and indisputable. After this intent to fund passes, I am committing to the board members that I will continue to be an advocate for the schools and help to solve the where do we find the money problem. I will encourage those who I can contact I will encourage those that I can to contact the Home Builders Association and ask them to drop the lawsuit. If that can happen, it will begin an immediate flow of revenue from the new homes being built. I will also campaign to get people out to vote for the sales tax referendum. If we want to support our schools, we are going to have to support that sales tax increase. Like it or not, something has to give, and the people realize that our taxes are going up somewhere. What we are asking for the Page community is not a list of elaborate wants, not even a list of basic needs at this point. At this point, right now, standing where we are, the expansions and the renovations we are asking for is simply an expectation that our schools will fit the students that go there, an expectation that the buildings are safe, an expectation that we have access to the same level of safety and education and facilities of every other student in this county. Again, thank you for all your hard work. We appreciate the challenges that the growth in this county brings, and we are hopeful that the problems at Page High and Page Middle will begin to get resolved tonight. Thank you.
Andrea Johnson.
Thank you, everybody. I'm Andrea Johnson. I live at 6269 Meeks Road in Franklin, and I have a senior, a sophomore, a 7th grader at Page, and an upcoming 5th grader for next year. You know, really the thing that I wanted to talk about tonight was, I know at one of the past meetings, there was a comment made about a throwaway school in our district. And I know no school was attached to that, and I don't know what school that was, but I just want to tell you guys why Page is not that throwaway school. My son, who's a sophomore, is also autistic, and this is his first year in public school. He is the manager of the football team at Page. And the second or third home game, the boys on the football team gave my son the MVP belt, and he might as well have won the Heisman Trophy. And I can promise you that with all the problems everyone has discussed, Page parents overwhelmingly do not want a new school. We want our school to be worthy of our students because we are a special community. And I've also heard it said that more people showed up at the other school meetings and maybe we're a squeakier wheel, which is maybe why we haven't gotten funding yet. I don't think that's the case. But I want to say that the demographic, in my experience at Page, is that we are the kind of people who just expect that everyone is going to do the right thing. And I think that's why you haven't had a bombardment of parents on you, because we really trust you guys to do what's right, and we know that our students at Page are not throwaway students. So thank you for your time, and vote for the amendment.
Donna Sava. Say that.
I'm Donna Sava, and I'm at 1133 Cedarview Lane in Franklin. And I have probably stood up here in front of you all one too many times. So you know I want the Phase 1 funding, and I have about 900 of my favorite friends back here with me. And I'll just leave it at that. But I would like you all to take a special note tonight, because a lot of times I come to these meetings and school board meetings and everything else, and there aren't people here to represent our school, because we do assume that you guys are all going to just help us out and do the right things. But tonight, I don't know, my cup a lot of times is empty when I come here, begging for things and asking for things. And tonight, you guys gave back to me. All of the faces that are here who showed up for our community, and I maybe sounded corny and everything else, but especially you guys that spoke. You're articulate and you're smart, and you came here tonight and you showed us what civic engagement is all about. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. And if this doesn't show you how awesome the Page community is, then folks, you're not listening. Thank you.
Lucy Shine.
I'm not sure.
Jessica Lucician. Not sure if I was close.
My name is Jessica Lucision, and I live at 4366 Arno Road. We have 4 kids at Williamson County Schools, and I just wanted to speak in favor of this funding. In our experience, at Page Middle and Page High, we've seen the addition of the portables at Page Middle, heard of our kids having lunch at 9-something a.m. in the morning, so we know this needs to happen. Also this year at Page Middle, they weren't able to have the meet and greet for the 8th grade students, and my understanding is because of the parking concerns. When we did have the 6th grade nights, they had to split us into 2 different evenings to accommodate students and parents. So we clearly need this for Page Middle and Page High. And I would just, remind us, not as if you don't know this, but we're one of the wealthiest counties in the state and the nation. We're toward the top. So I really would encourage us to find a way to fund these school improvements for not just Page, but all the schools that need it let's find the right mechanisms to make this happen, whether it's the millage rate, the sales tax. I think there's a way to make this happen, and the parents and the people who are moving here are willing to pay what it takes. A lot of us moved here or chose this county. When we relocated to Nashville, we chose Williamson County because of the schools. We didn't choose a different county. So we are willing to contribute our time, our money, and I think a lot of parents feel that way. So I just ask you to act quickly, make this happen for the Page community, and then just really work hard on finding those solutions for our funding overall. Thank you.
Monica Knight.
Hi, good evening. My name is Monica Knight. I live at 6210 Lynch Lane in College Grove, Tennessee. I appreciate the opportunity of allowing me to speak, but I just don't know if you've all had an opportunity to ever go into Page Middle and Page High. It is a uniquely special place, not only for the faculty and the staff and the parents, but most importantly, the students. That's really where it comes down to. It's about the students. And I will share just a few quick stories with you all. I have a sixth grader at the middle school and a high schooler. He's a freshman. And my son used to have a lot of problems with math. He struggled every day. That was his struggle. Well, he went through Page Middle, and right now today in high school, he is in honors math. I didn't do anything different. He did not do anything different. Page did something that was different. And it stresses me out and it stresses him out when today his struggle is not honors math. His struggle is walking through the hallways, not getting knocked down, and most importantly, how is he going to fit his 4 books, his 4 folders, and now winter his coat into his locker because it's just way too small. And another struggle for my daughter is waiting to go to the restroom, how long it takes for her to get to the restroom because there's always a line. And then finally, the heartbreaking part is when you find out that a teacher has to use a closet for an office. I ask that you please just consider approving Phase 1 for Page Middle and Page High because it's about the students. And it's important extremely important that we appropriate the funds where they are needed, not just wanted, but most importantly needed. And they are absolutely, positively needed at Page Middle and Page High. Thank you so much.
Holly Jenkins.
Hi, I'm Holly Jenkins, and I live at 1238 Broadmoor Circle. I'm a Page parent, and I'm so proud to be part of the Page community and these kids who spoke and all these parents, and we've had such a great experience at Page, and I'm just so proud to be part of this group. I'm here tonight and I'm going to ask you to approve the funding for Phase 1 of the Page Middle School Master Plan and also Phase 1 of the High School Master Plan. I wanted to thank y'all, those of you who were able to come out and tour the Page facilities with one of our parents. I know not all of you got the chance to do that, but even those of you who didn't, I'm sure you're well aware of the desperate needs that are there, overcrowding, old and failing facilities that are not on par with other schools in the county, and the explosive growth in this part of the county. There are no schools in Williamson County who have a more desperate need for facility renovation and expansion than Page Middle and Page High School. Phase 1 of these master plans is a great start to fixing what's wrong at Page, but it's only the first step. The Page community is going to continue to ask the school board to stay committed to completing all the phases of the full master plans for both the middle school and the high school. I personally would like to see the funding requested and approved and work completed on all phases of both plans for both campuses by the start of the 2020 school year. As part of the 5-year capital plan, the school board had already identified money needed for new middle and high schools in the central east part of the county. And by improving Page campuses and completing all phases of those master plans will increase the capacity and delay the need for new schools. So the money that was already identified as necessary for new school building in that area can and should easily be reallocated to funding the Page master plans in full. I know as county commissioners, you can only vote to fund requests that are put in front of you. And I know that tonight what's in front of you is just to fund Phase 1 and of both the middle school and the high school. And as a Page parent and as a resident of Williamson County, I'm asking that you vote yes. Thank you.
That ends our citizens' communications. I would like to thank each of you, and especially the students who spoke. You are exemplary students, and for your parents ought to be proud of you, and the teachers and administration of some of the products of our county. We thank you a lot for coming and speaking. Next is communication and messages. I'd like to take a minute to remember we lost one of our commissioners this last week. He's going to be sorely missed. Lou was here for 21 years. He was a tremendous help to me when I was first elected, and he was a quiet man, but he was always in his community, always willing to help, and he will be missed, and we need to remember his family. And on that note, we have to select a replacement commissioner, and so we're going to open it up for anyone who is interested. We ask that you would make an application to the mayor's office. We're going to put a deadline that of October 30th, which is our filing deadline, so we can get it on the November agenda. Because if we don't do it in November, then it's going to be January before we meet again. So I'd like to get somebody on board. So again, if you would make application to the mayor's office by October 30th, close of business. Thank you. At this time, next we have a proclamation. Mayor Rogers Anderson.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, we have a proclamation tonight. Accepting that proclamation is Debbie Rainey with the United Way, and let me read this. You have a copy of it. It's a proclamation declaring October the 26th, 2017 as Lights On After School Day, whereas the citizens of Williamson County stand firmly committed to quality after-school programs and opportunities by providing safe, challenging, and engaging learning experiences that help children develop social, emotional, physical, and academic skills. And whereas after-school programs also support working families by ensuring their children are safe and productive after the regular school day ends, building stronger communities by involving students and parents, business leaders, and adult volunteers in the lives of young people, thereby promoting positive relationships among youth, the families, and the adults. And whereas our after-school programs engage families, schools, and community partners in advancing the welfare of our children, and whereas these expanded learning opportunities help close the achievement gap and prepare young people to compete in the global economy, and the Tennessee After School Network has provided significant leadership in the area of community involvement in the education and the well-being of our youth, grounded in the principle that quality after-school programs are key to helping our children become successful adults. And whereas Lights On After School, the national celebration of after-school programs held this year on October the 26th, promotes the importance of quality after-school programs in the lives of children, our families, and our communities. It is by the powers of me as vested as the mayor here in Williamson County that we designate and proclaim October 26, 2017 as Lights On After School Day. Congratulations.
I want to thank you all for allowing the mayor to do this. This is so important for our kids. I mean, United Way kind of starts with children at birth, and for those kids that struggle, I mean, this is a great opportunity for them. I mean, more and more our stats show that if a child is not reading at grade level by third grade, it's very hard for them to succeed. So thank you very much for doing this, and I am honored to be here.
Next, we have a late filed resolution. We need to see if there's any objections. Late filed resolution number 10-17-16. A resolution appropriating and amending the 2016-17 capital projects budget by $25,000 for ball field improvements at Fairview City Park. Revenues to come from the city of Fairview. Are there any objections to hearing that? Hearing none, it's on our agenda at the end of appropriations. Next, I guess, is reports of county offices. County Mayor.
Mr. Chairman, if I could have Nina make her way up. She'll give us a snapshot of how the county is doing financially since the last month. And then second, we'll have a report from Karen Paris, our trustee. Will be talking about some policy. And on a personal note, I also want to acknowledge the family of Sandy and Lou and the loss of Lou. For many, many years, I've stood up here and looked at Lou, and he's just been a stabling force for all of us throughout these many years. He served 21 years like he did, and almost no one ever speaks harshly of Lou Green. What a compliment to a gentleman, a mainstay in the Nolensville community, an active leader. I was very impressed the other day. He taught Sunday school for over 40 years in his community. So he was a man well liked, well loved, and I know his family would could use the support that all of us will need to shower upon him. Likewise, and before Mr. Hullett took the position of Tom Bain and his family. Just takes time. Nina?
Thank you, Mayor and Chairman. Tonight I have several reports for you. The first one is the August budget report. We're tracking on target for this time of year, going into the second month of our fiscal year. The next report is the education impact fee. Through the month of August, total to date, we've collected a little over $5 million for the education impact fee. For the August privilege tax report, we collected a little over $2.5 million for the month of August. For the Cool Springs Marriott facility, this month, Williamson County received $13,164. Also in your packet is the CT 0253 report. This report is for the $20 million tax anticipation note that we borrowed. The State of Tennessee Office of Local Finance requires that we submit this report to you. Also, I was asked by one of the commissioners to provide a copy of some graphs that have our existing debt for general debt service and rural debt service, and what the proposal of tonight's bond amendments would look like if we overlay that on our current debt service. I'm sorry, that was a handout that was at your desk. So. I don't know if you have any questions.
Look on the screen and I will circle. Here you go. You have
Commissioner Anderson?
Lawrence.
Lawrence. I'm sorry, Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, Nina. I have a couple of questions. Where are we right now on our total debt for the county? Can I have these two numbers up here? Or
Well, I just have as of June 30, our total outstanding debt is $592,135,000. Our net debt, which excludes the hospital and the cities that pay for their own, is $548,714,000.
okay. So on the handout you gave us with the graphs, you're saying that the green portion is what we're voting on tonight for the 2018.
Yes, sir.
So relatively small. It looks like we're going to vote on about $135 million worth of bonds tonight. Is that
Yes.
correct? So a very, very small portion of that's going to rural debt service then. Correct?
Of the bonds tonight,
Yeah, I mean, it just looks to me like the graphs, in light of what we're voting on tonight, the graphs look a little bit, like the amount of, the green portion looks a little slim to me.
give me a minute. There's a little over 74 million, I think, going to rural debt service.
Okay.
In the package there, Commissioner, behind Resolution 1017-34, she has provided you a list of all the things that you've already voted on that we're taking to market in our bond issuance, and it will list those down, even what you've done as far back as July. As you know, we try to issue those between November and December. There's a master list of all those things that you voted on, all the schools. We would have included page, but we didn't want to be presumptuous to allow you all to vote on it tonight. But there's also a resolution in there for that too.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
That
Mayor.
answers my question.
Behind Resolution 1017-1, there is a breakdown of our current bonds that you're voting on tonight, and that's what the mayor was referring to. And behind that is the $20 million listing of the various county general projects.
I guess I do have one more question, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Nina, how much are we going to retire this year, in the fiscal year of debt, of the $592 million?
I didn't write that number down. I think it's a little over 60 million between both of them.
Okay, so a pretty significant portion. Good.
Any other questions?
I have two questions for the mayor. No, it's not our turn here.
Okay. Commissioner Sturgeon?
Nina already answered my question. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Danner?
Mayor, can you give us, I have two questions for you. An update, I'm looking for updates. So the first one is on the status of negotiations or talks on the Cool Springs Convention Center with the City of Franklin.
Well, the question on that, we received the bids. We received the rates for that. We've got one individual that is going to be doing the property assessment and one's going to be doing the business side. We should have that we're going to have it by November, Nina?
I know they are contacting the Marriott.
Okay. It's in the process, depending on, I don't remember the exact date, Commissioner, but we should have that by certainly year end. If we have to mail it out, we'll do it, but certainly have it by January.
When you say that, you mean the value? We'll be
Yes.
able to have, yeah, okay, that's what I'm wanting to know.
Yeah, you'll get you'll get the value of the property of the Marriott Convention Center, and then you get the business side of that, what it would take
Yeah.
for somebody to do it.
Okay, and I know there's many steps ahead as we try to look into that. The other one is, and I know you have restrictions to answering this fully, but can you give us any kind of an update on the lawsuit?
I can give you the best answer I can give you, all right?
All right.
Counsel, would you answer that for us?
Sorry, Bobby.
That's okay.
Turn your speak, turn the thing. Okay, quit hitting. Now, you're live.
Okay. There was absolutely nothing new from last meeting. We are still in the process of gathering information. We are, right now, I believe we are doing the scheduling, where we can schedule depositions, when we're going to exchange information. So we're in the process of going through the judicial process. So it's not like we're going to have something change every month. As you know, it moves slowly. And that's really the best kind of update I can give you.
Would it do any good to help support, we had a speaker, Liz Kramer, I believe, and I appreciate her, her heart for wanting to possibly campaign to contact these builders. Would it help any if the public were to do that?
I could not answer that. I cannot answer whether you contacting them is going to help make the builders drop their suit. We believe we have a strong stance, but I can't say one way or the other.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
So I can answer the second part a lot better than the first part.
Okay.
For the people in the audience that don't know what we're talking about, there is a lawsuit that's ongoing. About 2 years ago, there were several county commissioners and myself that met with several home builders throughout the county. Over a period of time, we engaged a consultant out of Chicago, and this individual came down, and we were trying to do something, create something that had not been done throughout the state, but would help our residents. And so out of that came an educational impact fee. That educational impact fee, we took it out to the community. We had several meetings in and out our different cities, all throughout the county, trying to educate and get some input on that. Ultimately, that vote passed 23-1, that as new people move to our community, as businesses come to the town, and at the time of the permit, they will be charged based on the square footage of that house, an educational impact fee, that new homeowner, not the existing homeowner, and that was the whole theory behind the entire process, that as people move to our community, we welcome them, but it's really not fair for the existing taxpayers, the property taxpayers, to continue shouldering these burdens like the request you've had tonight and that we had last month from the Brentwood community and the Franklin, vice versa, the Franklin community and the Brentwood, that we continue to tap into that property tax, which is very special. We're the lowest property tax in the Middle Tennessee area, and that's a good thing. That's a real good thing. And let's look at fees. Let's look at ways that can put money in the coffers to pay for the things we need. That passed, as I said, 23-1. We rocked along. We even said the first 5 or 6 months we're going to do that 50 cents on the dollar, give you an opportunity to assure that responsibility at 50 cents on the dollar, and then September 1 of this year, it'd be the full cost of whatever the square footage of your house that you built. If you built a 4,000, 2,000, or 6,000 square foot home, the larger the home, the larger the amount of money you would be paying. So they have filed a lawsuit. So that's where we are. And for the people here in the audience, and to especially the lady that spoke, that she'd make a phone call, atta girls, what I say.
I said too.
Because we're not here, I'm not going to politicize the issue. We're here to have the great community we've got, continue to have that community over the next 5 and 10 years. And the only way we can do that, we have to pay for things. And so we'll see how that plays out. I'm confident we'll be successful in that. And I should also say that a lot of our local home builders are 100% behind this. And I know you all know that, but I wanted to say it for the people in this audience. A lot of the local builders are for it. It's the out-of-county, out-of-state that aren't necessarily for this. And I get that also. So as Karen is making her way, thanks, Commissioner, for allowing me to expound on this. Karen is making her way up, talk about a new policy.
We have one more question.
You got another question?
Yeah. Commissioner Kestner?
Yes, thank you. Mayor Anderson, I would make one little tweak. While our tax rate is the lowest of the 9-county area, our average tax bill is the highest because our home values are higher. So let's not forget that. But much more importantly, if someone, Ms. Kramer, wanted to call the Homeowners Association of Middle Tennessee, that phone number is 377 1055, 377 1055. And if you email me, I'll probably find the phone numbers of those out-of-town home builders for you, too. So thank you.
Karen?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. This past week, the Investment Committee met, and the Investment Committee just meets as needed to consider various things, and one of them is I asked for the committee to adopt an investment policy for Williamson County. There was not one in place. The Tennessee Code authorizes but does not require the investment committee to adopt a set of policies for investments. So really this just, you have this on your, in your packet there, two of them. The first one just says the investment policy for Williamson County, and it basically just puts into place what we've been doing for a number of years, and says that we will abide by Tennessee law in all aspects. And I worked on that with Bobby Cook to make sure that it was TCA compliant, and it's just a part of our sort of internal controls and making sure that we have a set of policies for us to operate under and future trustees, you know, unless the investment committee changes that. So that's the first one. And then the second one, it doesn't require action by the full commission, but I just wanted to bring you up to speed at the request of Commissioner Ryan, who actually sits on the committee, asked me to come and to bring you up to speed on that. And the second one is actually required under Tennessee law, and this one is for a specific type of investment, two of them actually. What's called the CEDARS or ICS program, which is Certificates of Deposit Account Registry Service, or the Insured Cash Sweep. And what that does, you may or may not be aware, but under Tennessee law, when we deposit funds, public funds, of course, the utmost duty that we have is to make sure those funds are secured and safe above all things. And so all funds have to be collateralized by banks. So if we have $100 million in the bank, they have to put up $105 million worth of security. Of course, that ties up a lot of bank capital. And so what these programs do is allow the banks to split up the money into various other banks in increments of $250,000 or less, so that they're fully FDIC insured without having to put up that collateral. So without getting too deep in the woods, these are authorized under the Tennessee Code. We've already been doing them for a number of years, but this just puts a set of policies in place so that, you know, it's on record what we're doing in our office. And I'll be happy to entertain any questions you might have about it.
Don't see any questions, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
And if I might, for 1 second, tell you that 2017 tax bills go in the mail tomorrow, so everyone be expecting those, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
And finally, Mr. Chairman, if I could, I'm going to call Dusty up here. He doesn't know it. Normally you see the sheriff here, but the hurricane's got him stuck out in the middle of an ocean. So kind of give you an update. A few of you asked, where is the sheriff? He was on vacation, much deserved vacation, him and his wife on a cruise, and I'll let Dusty tell the rest of the story.
Well, they were supposed to dock, I think, Saturday night and get off the boat Sunday, and with the hurricane coming through, they were in Mobile, coming in Mobile, so they were told they had to stay at sea, and I think they may have gotten in at 4 o'clock this afternoon and driving back tonight. So that's where the boss is.
He was going around in circles. Anything else?
Unless there are any other questions? Thank you, Mayor. Dr. Looney?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's good to see you tonight. As of today's enrollment, we have 39,358 students enrolled in our district. That's pre-K through 12th grade. That's 513 students short of what our enrollment projections were. But it is consistent with what we see happening, and that is we get students every single day. I think the last week we got 11 new students. So our enrollment continues to grow. Tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, I believe that the Commissioner of Education is going to release our ACT results for the state. She was kind enough to come to our State of the School speech, and she confirmed my projection, which is a 25.2 average ACT score. That is the highest ACT score ever recorded in the Williamson County School District. So. I'm going to be very brief. I appreciate everybody speaking tonight on this very important topic of how we'll handle growth. We've calculated, we've crunched numbers, we've shown graphs. There's nothing else to talk about. Let's get this done.
I have one question. He's gone. How's your back?
Thank you for asking. This was so important. I have my back is broken in 2 different places, but I'm here tonight to get this done.
Steve Smith.
As one of the county commission representatives on the Williamson County Convention and Visitor Board, Bureau Board, along with Commissioner Webb, it's a pleasure for me to ask our President and CEO, Ellie Chin, to come address us and talk about the impact of tourism on our citizens here in Williamson County.
Thank you, Commissioner Smith, Commissioner Little. Nice to see everyone tonight. I left this one-sheeter at each of your place seats, so you'll have it. But as you know, it takes us a little while to get our numbers from the previous year. So even though we're well into 2017, I'm here to present our 2016 numbers. Just a couple highlights. We had a good year from a tourism perspective. We had 1.43 million visitors come into Williamson County, which was a 9.4% increase over 2015. That created an economic impact of just over $427 million, which was a 4% increase. We still are solid, ranked number 6 of 95 counties in tourism spending. And the number I have been really excited about that I saw was we employ 3,537 people in hospitality in Williamson County. It's almost 18% increase. So I think there's a lot is happening. As we know, every day we see new things going on in our county, but we've opened new hotels, we've opened new restaurants, we've opened new attractions. We have a really great program at Columbia State now, so we're training kids how to have a career in hospitality, and I was thrilled to see that number. And then the other number I was really excited about is our tax savings per household increased to $505.20, which was a 3.6% increase over 2015. So across the board, really solid numbers. I want to thank each of you for your support. You stop me when I see you out. You ask about the numbers and so forth, and we couldn't do this without your support, so we really appreciate it.
Commissioner Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to take a moment to commend Ellie and her staff. They do an incredible job. We're not just sitting back waiting for people to roll into town. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of work, and she's got a lot of smart people working with her, and they do a tremendous job, and they benefit all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Perry, I think, has a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This question is for Ms. Chin. I don't want to put you on the spot. Do you know the 5 counties that are ahead of us?
I do. It's Nashville, Memphis, Knoxville, Chattanooga, and the mountains, Gatlinburg area.
Okay. One follow-up. Can you give us an update on the Sports Authority, the work on the study of the facilities?
Yeah, we released the study in June or July, I think. And as I've told some of you, when I've seen you out and you've asked me questions about it, you know, the study was really great to get because it said we could use a sports facility. But as I have mentioned, that doesn't mean we're going to run out tomorrow and build this big sports facility. What that does mean is we have some due diligence to do. We need to take the study and look further into it and see what it is that we really need here in the county, how we want to move forward, who could be our partners, and so forth. So we're in the process of doing that now.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Are there any other committees or county offices that need to like to make a report? Moving on to the agenda then. Consent agenda is next. Would entertain a motion? First, Commissioner Dwight Jones, and second was David Landrum. On the board? If you're in favor, push your yes. Opposed, push your no. Confirm your vote. Commissioner. Anybody wishing to change your vote, do so at this time. Ms. Anderson, record the vote, please.
21 yes. 0 no.
Thank you. There is no unfinished business, there is no new business, no zoning, so moving on with appropriations. Resolution 10-17-1. Resolution of the Williamson County Board of County Commissioners approval of an intent to fund of $15,500,000, Phase 1 of the Page Master Plan for Page Middle and High Schools. Commissioner Herbert?
Approval.
Second. Okay. Commissioner Herbert, the motion. Commissioner Osbrooks, the second. Or okay. Discussion. Commissioner Hester. No.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Excuse me. This is my first time to preside, so please excuse me while I'm getting my. All right. All right. Well, committee reports first. All right. Committee reports. School board was, I assume 12, yes?
6 in favor, 0 against.
All right, now school board, I assume was 12? 12-0. Education committee?
6 in favor, 0 against.
Budget committee?
5-4-0 against.
All right. Explanation, Commissioner.
This is $10.5 million for a 30 classroom addition for Page Middle, and also to fix a lot of the sewer problems they're having, and also another $5 million for road improvements and parking facilities, and to upgrade the football and track.
Discussion. Commissioner Hester?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Both of my children graduated from Page Middle School and Page High School. And when they were there, the halls were narrow, the bathrooms were small, and of course, there have been no improvements in that area since they attended and graduated from both of those schools. It's an excellent school. I do appreciate everyone being here tonight and supporting Page Middle and Page High School. It is a tremendous benefit to our county to have such a special school and there on Arno Road. I do ask you please to support this amount of money tonight to be approved for this phase of Page Middle and Page High School improvements. We cannot continue to have this overcrowding and our problems with the sewer. Please, and the sewer brownwater backup, please help and support this resolution. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Lawrence?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is my mic on?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's not now. You turned it off. Now you got to wait a minute. Now you're on.
All right. Well, I just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight, especially those of you who spoke. My son graduated from Page several years ago, and I will echo the feeling that a lot of you have about Page. We love the smaller school atmosphere out there and the rural feel of Page. It is a very unique school in Williamson County. And especially some of you moms who really got involved and invited us out to tour the school and see firsthand what some of the issues were. I really want to thank everybody for letting us know your thoughts and concerns. Some of you had emailed me and have been emailing me for quite some time about the issues and wondering why this is taking so long. And I did want to explain to some of you that this is not something that really snuck up on us. We've known about this for a while, but the biggest problem out there has been the sewer issue. The state would not allow us to build one more classroom out there, and still won't unless we can find a solution to the sewer issue that will allow us to expand it. And last year, I talked to Dr. Lipsky when we were building the theater, and I thought we needed to build classrooms out there instead of a theater. But the reason that we ended up with the theater is because that's all the state would allow us to build, because the theory was that that's not really adding to the capacity of the current sewer system. And so we were literally looking at the possibility of moving the school, or maybe putting one of the schools, the high school or the middle school, somewhere else. And you know, we heard a lot from the community that you really don't want that. So so it's taken us some time to come to this resolution. But I did want to. I hate to ask Dr. Looney to come back up here with his bad back, but. Sorry, but I did want to ask you about where we are on getting the sewer situation resolved.
Mr. Lawrence, I'll be glad to answer your question. At one of the Page community meetings, we had a member of the community stand up and say they would donate some land. We have tested that land, but his willingness to donate it has altered some. And so we continue to negotiate with that individual and a developer. In addition, we have negotiated with a second property owner, and we are finalizing the testing on that piece of property, which we believe will be suitable for sewer as well. So all that being said, we don't have anything nailed down concretely. We believe we have two very viable options, and should it require, we're willing to go to condemnation.
How long do you think it will take to resolve that?
Well, if we go to condemnation, probably some time, but our expectation is to do the sewer project concurrent to the construction project. As you know, we have the authority and power legally to condemn property. We don't want to do that. We don't typically do that, but we have to have sewer.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Looney.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Smith?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I too want to thank the Budget and Education Committee for supporting this project. As you've heard tonight, the situation at Page is not to the standard we expect for facilities for our students in this county, and there is absolutely a tidal wave of new students coming their way, and we cannot sit on this project any longer. We've got to move forward. To all of you here, thank you for being here. If we are able to present a sales tax referendum to the public after the first of the year, to everybody who said, fund our schools, raise our taxes, you're going to get the chance. So we need your support badly for this one part, a small sales tax increase, one part of a longer-term funding solution for the schools. So we appreciate your support. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Kestner?
Sir, thank you, Mr. Chairman. If Andrea Johnson is still here, I'd like to try to reassure her and say, to the best of my knowledge, no one has ever said that Page is a throwaway school. If that impression is out there, I'm very concerned it's not. And I think that Page families, and all families for that matter, are entitled to first-rate schools commensurate with our system. And as I said in the Budget Committee meeting, this is not a $10 million decision, really. This is about a $70 million decision. We're walking down a path of a master plan that all phases taken together add up to $70 million. And so my question to Dr. Looney becomes, hey, if we gave you $70 million, is this what you would do with it? And I think his answer is yes. I'm not sure we shouldn't amend this amount up to $70 million and get on with it, quite frankly. We've been talking about this for years. That said, we don't really have bids for this. These are just estimates, and these estimates are pretty high. You know, if you look at the additional capacity, it's about, and if you attribute the whole $70 million to the 1,234 additional capacity we get, that's $57,000 per student. That's very high. It's over and above what we target by almost a factor of 2. We could go down the road theoretically and build a new 3,500 capacity school for $105 million with a brand new everything. But I don't think we could sell the existing school for $35 million and be at the same spot. If we spend $70 million, that will engender a 5-cent tax increase if we don't prevail on our impact fee litigation or on sales tax. I do think we will prevail on our impact fee litigation. If we did have to have a 5-cent tax increase to solve this problem, I'm okay with that. That'd be a 2.3% increase just to pay the capital cost. It'd be a nickel on a base of $2.15. I don't know how else we're going to solve this problem. I'm encouraged that our growth in student enrollment is only about 1,100 from September of 16 to September of 17. That's great news. Maybe we're not going to have to build a wall and make Megan Berry pay for it after all. Although the thought is appealing, I'll admit. And when I say all this, I know that Commissioner Herbert, who is a very diligent steward of our money, is going to insist that I vote for any necessary tax increase that results from funding Page. That's her alma mater. And I hereby commit to Commissioner Herbert that I will do that. Again, I don't think we have any other solutions here. I really don't. I see no other solutions. What will make me very unhappy is if we get halfway down this master plan pathway and stop. So we better get on with solving the sewer issues and getting the bids and getting the architect to finalize their plans and specs. I really think that's what we ought to do. Thank you.
Are there no other questions? I assume you're ready to vote. Commissioner Herbert?
Yeah. I think I'm going to express some of the same things everybody said. I really appreciate the students and the parents. I've been very impressed with them and the things they've said, that in spite of an old building that's the oldest high school building in the county, that they still love their school because they're such a community, and I understand that because I had 3 children graduate there, and I love Page High and Page Middle. I do want to remind you once again, just remember this when the sales tax issue comes up, please vote for this so we can fund these things and get the rest of the school funded, but go Page.
No other questions? If you're ready to vote, ready, press your yes button if you're in favor, press your no button if you're opposed. And confirm your votes. Anyone wish to change your votes, do so at this time. Ms. Anderson, record the vote, please.
Okay, 21 yes, 0 no.
At this time, the chair will call a 5-minute recess. If some of them would like to leave, I know they've got school tomorrow, so at this time we will declare a 5-minute recess for anyone wishing to leave can. We'd love to have you stay for the rest of it. We've still got a pretty good agenda.
Greg. I don't see Eddie here. Usually he is here, so I'll just call him in the morning to see if I can get an update on your. Yeah, I'd like to know this week.
Unmute all the mics again.
I really expected him to be here.
And maybe you can go ahead and bang him again. Girl, get in your seat.
I got another question.
What?
One of his staff called me.
It takes a minute.
What are the local issues here? Sort of a listening campaign. I said, I don't know, you know.
You better do it again.
Hey. Hey. I see him.
You're bouncing, baby boy.
Yeah, I mean, what are the issues that are
All right. Well, thank you. Oh. Yeah.
where they get invited?
Yeah.
Where was the accident? Have you heard? Oh, great.
They had both lanes, north and south, closed for a while.
Great. Dusty, what'd you do that for?
Okay.
Shut down the interstate. It was just a car burning.
But we, okay.
Like I said, how we felt today that you did it, that wasn't enough.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we're off this week, aren't we? Yep.
We
So.
have met before.
I missed White County because I was out of town, but I did the stats from the film. So. yeah. I watched the film. So. Okay. All right. Thanks. Yes. Everyone would take your seats, please. We need to.
Get on with the business.
They're coming.
That's right. Now we can rock and roll, huh? Now we're gonna read fast and talk dirty and rock and roll.
I'm Miss Dr. No at the church. No, you're not going to do that. Preacher won't tell everybody yes. Jay Wheeler. Who's she along with Jack or Paul? Jay Wheeler, college. Probably needed.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is resolution number 10-17-2. Resolution authorizing the issuance, sale, and payment of not to exceed $69,850,000 of county district school bonds of Williamson County, Tennessee, and provide for the levy of taxes for the payment of debt service on the bonds.
Move for approval.
Commissioner Webb, the motion. Commissioner Dwight Jones, the second. Committee reports, I think, Budget Committee.
5-4-0 against.
Explanation.
This resolution is authorizing we go ahead and sell these bonds for the $69 million and whatever the number is here, $69,850,000. And I will defer to Nina, and Sam is in the audience if we'd like to ask questions of either one of them.
Are there any questions? I see none. I assume you're ready to vote. All those in favor, push your yes button, oppose the no button, and confirm your votes. Can we mark him absent? Okay, all right. All right. Record, anybody wishing to change your vote, do so at this time. Miss Anderson, record the vote, please. Motion carries. Next item, resolution number 10-17-3. Resolution authorizing the issuance, sale, and payment of not to exceed $49,400,000 of general obligation public improvement and school bonds for Williamson County, Tennessee, and providing for the levy of taxes for the payment of debt service on the bonds.
Move for approval.
Commissioner Webb, the motion. Commissioner Dwight Jones, the second. Explanation. Committee report.
Budget Committee, 5-4-0 against.
Explanation.
This is another resolution authorizing the debt service for $49,400,000 from the general fund. Again, Sam and Nina can explain, but the resolution itself gives a broad overview of how these funds will be spent.
Are there any questions? Seeing none, I assume you're ready to vote. If you're in favor, press your yes button. No, oppose your button, and confirm your votes. Anyone wishing to change their vote, do so at this time. Ms. Anderson, record the vote, please.
Okay. 21 yes, 0 no.
Motion carries. Resolution 10-17-4. Resolution authorizing the issuance, sale, and payment of not to exceed $5,070,000 of general obligation school bonds for Williamson County, Tennessee, provide for the levy of taxes for the payment on debt service on the bonds.
Move for approval.
Commissioner Webb, the motion. Commissioner Dwight Jones, the second. Committee report.
Budget 5-4-0 against.
Explanation.
This is for part of the funding that we're going to do for the county high school. This goes along with an extra coming up for $10 million. This is for the debt service and levy of taxes on these bonds for $5,070,000.
Any questions? Seeing none, I assume you're ready to vote. All in favor, press your yes button. No, your no button, and confirm your vote. Anyone wishing to change your vote, do so at this time. Ms. Anderson, record the vote, please.
Okay. 21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 10-17-5. Resolution authorizing the issuance, sale, and payment of not to exceed $10,640,000 of county school bonds of Williamson County, Tennessee, provide for the levy of taxes for the payment of debt service on the bonds.
Move for approval.
Webb?
Move for approval.
Commissioner Webb, the motion. Commissioner Dwight Jones, the second. The committee reports.
Budget Committee 5-0. This is for essentially the Page Middle School area of $10,640,000. This is authorize us to pay for the bonds.
Any questions? Seeing none, I assume you're ready to vote. All in favor, press your yes button. No, your opposed button, and confirm your vote. Anyone wishing to change your vote, do so at this time. Ms. Anderson, record the vote, please.
Okay. 21 yes, 0 no.
Motion passes. Next is 10-17-6, requested by the Library Director. Resolution appropriating and amending the 2017-2018 library budget by $35,114.43. Revenues to come from donations, contributions, and fines. Commissioner Webb.
Move for approval.
Library Board.
Library Board 6-4-0 against.
Budget Committee.
Budget Committee is 5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Mr. Webb.
You'll see the explanation from the Library Board. Note that the donation of $16,055 is the City of Franklin quarterly donation. Have any questions?
Any questions? Seeing none, I assume you're ready to vote. All in favor, cast your yes button, and all your no button, and confirm. Anyone wishing to change your votes, do so at this time. Ms. Anderson, record the vote, please.
Okay. 21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 10-17-8, requested by Juvenile Court. Resolution appropriating and amending the 2017-18 juvenile service budget by $9,479.89. Revenues to come from grant funds. Commissioner Webb. Smith.
Move for approval. Second.
Law Enforcement.
6 yes, 0 no.
Budget Committee.
5-4-0 no.
Explanation.
This is a grant from the Administrative Office of the Courts. Does not require matching. It provides mediation services and a pro se legal clinic in juvenile courts.
Any questions? Seeing none, I assume you're ready to vote. All in favor, press your yes button. No, your no button, and confirm your vote. Anyone wishing to change your vote, do so at this time. Ms. Anderson, record your vote.
21 yes, 0 no.
Motion passes. Resolution passes, excuse me. Resolution 10-17-9, requested by Juvenile Services Director. Resolution appropriating and amending the 2017-18 juvenile services budget by $25,358.97. Revenues to come from federal through state grant funds. Commissioner Smith?
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Smith, the motion. Commissioner Osbrook, the second. Law Enforcement?
6 yes, 0 no.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 no.
Explanation?
This is rolling forward unspent funds from a federal through state grant to provide some additional services involving substance abuse in juvenile court. No matching funds.
Any questions? Seeing none, I assume you're ready to vote. If you're in favor, press your yes button. No, your no button, and confirm your vote. Anyone wishing to change your vote, do so at this time. Ms. Anderson, record the vote, please.
21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 10-17-10, requested by the Veterans Court. Resolution appropriating and amending the 2017-18 General Sessions Veterans Court budget by $8,000. Revenues to come from Veteran Court reserves.
Move for approval.
Smith. Commissioner Smith, the motion. Commissioner Dwight Jones, the second. Law Enforcement Committee?
6 yes, 0 no.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 no.
Explanation?
These are funds generated from fees that will be used to provide additional services through the Veterans Court under the General Sessions Court.
Are there any questions? Seeing none, I assume you're ready to vote. If you're in favor, press your yes button. Opposed, your no button, and confirm your vote. Anyone wishing to change your vote, do so at this time. Ms. Anderson, record the vote, please.
21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 10-17-11, requested by the District Attorney General's Office. Resolution appropriating and amending the 2017-18 County General Budget by $85,361.03. Revenues to come from victim assessment fees. Commissioner Smith?
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Smith, the motion. Commissioner Osbrook, the second. Law Enforcement?
6 yes, 0 no.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 no.
Explanation?
There are fees generated in the court system that goes to a victims fund administered by the state. These are freeing those funds to be used for support of victims of crime.
Any questions? Seeing none, I assume you're ready to vote. All in favor, press your yes button. Opposed, your no button, and confirm your vote.
Commissioner Mark.
Anyone wishing to change your vote, do so at this time. Ms. Anderson, record the vote, please.
21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 10-17-12, requested by the Budget Director. Resolution appropriating and amending the 2017-18 Veteran Service Budget of $1,100, revenues to come from memorial brick paver sales.
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Webb, the motion, and who was the second? Commissioner Herbert, the second. Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation?
As you can see, this is the brick pavers that are over to Archive Park. And just as a personal note, Mr. Chair, let me note that Mr. Green was a Navy veteran of the Korean War. And so maybe we can get some bricks over there.
Are any questions? If you're in favor, push your yes button. Opposed, your no button, and confirm. Anyone wishing to change your vote, do so at this time. Ms. Anderson, record the vote, please.
21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 10-17-13, requested by Property Assessor. Resolution appropriating and amending the 2017-18 Assessor's Budget by $7,873.34 for educational incentive salary supplements, revenues to come from state funds. Commissioner Webb?
Move for approval.
Commissioner Webb, the motion. Commissioner Dwight Jones, the second. Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanations, Commissioner Webb?
You can see this is state pass-through to supplement those members of the assessor's office who have reached the educational incentive, this salary supplement pass-through.
Any questions? Not, I assume you're ready to vote. If you're in favor, press your yes button. Opposed, your no button, and confirm. Anyone wishing to change your vote?
I'm not sure if I did that right or not. But I meant yes.
Vote yes and reconfirm, or vote your vote and confirm again. Cancel.
Which one's canceled?
And then start over.
Okay. Okay. Record the vote, Ms. Anderson.
21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Late file resolution 10-17-16, requested by Parks and Recreation Department. Resolution appropriating and amending the 2017-18 capital projects budget by $25,000 for ball field improvements at Fairfield City Park. What did I say?
Fairfield.
Excuse me, Fairview City Park. Revenues to come from the city of Fairview. Commissioner Jones.
Second.
Okay. Commissioner Jones, the second. Commissioner Jones, the motion. To Budget Committee.
5-4-0 against.
Explanation. Commissioner Jones.
This is, if you remember, the city of Fairview donated $25,000 back before the July budget, and this is the other part that they were kind of promising another $25,000. And I will say that Commissioner Debbie Rainey was in the audience, and Commissioner Derek Burks. I guess they got scared off with all the page people, so.
They love you.
So I'm sure they appreciate your support.
Commissioner Reed, do you have anything to add?
No, just City of Fairview's been reaching out, helping as much as they can here lately, and we really appreciate it.
Commissioner Clark?
This is going to sound like a dumb question. We're just voting to receive it.
Right.
Okay, thank you. Yes. Thank you.
Any other questions? Not, I assume you're ready to vote. All in favor, press your yes button. Opposed, your no button, and confirm your vote. Anyone wishing to change your vote, do so at this time. Ms. Anderson, record the vote, please.
21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. Resolution 10-17-7, requested by the Public Safety Director. Resolution authorizing the county mayor to execute a memorandum of understanding with the city of Spring Hill concerning operation of sirens as part of an outdoor warning system. Commissioner Smith?
Move for approval.
Commissioner Smith, the motion. Commissioner Dwight Jones, the second. Law Enforcement Committee?
6 yes, 0 no.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 no.
Explanation, Commissioner Smith?
Spring Hill has warning sirens. We have warning sirens. They kind of overlap. It was agreed that it would make more sense for our EMS service to initiate the operation of those sirens when necessary. And we will continue to maintain ours. They will take care of theirs, keep them in working order, but we will coordinate the operation.
Any questions? Seeing none, I assume you're ready to vote. All in favor, press your yes button. Opposed, your no button, and confirm your vote. Anyone wishing to change your vote, do so at this time. Ms. Anderson, record the vote.
21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution carries. Resolution 10-17-14, requested by the county mayor. Resolution authorizing the Williamson County mayor to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Regional Transportation Authority of Middle Tennessee concerning the provision of a park and ride location. Commissioner Webb?
Move for approval.
Commissioner Webb, the motion. Commissioner Dwight Jones, the second. Property Committee?
4-4-0 against.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Mr. Webb?
This allows the mayor to enter into a memorandum of understanding to basically have a park and ride at the Ag Expo Park.
Okay. Commissioner Pear?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't know if there's anybody that can answer. I was curious why we had to move it from the previous site to to the Ag Expo Park.
Mayor can answer that.
Mr. Mayor?
Current parking lot is adjacent beside the hospital, some of the hospital land. That's where they've been going, and the hospital is looking to use that land at some future date. This gave them plenty of opportunity. We have the space down at the Ag Center that was built for this. Actually, when you're doing the memorandum of understanding, what you're really outlining is the liability issues when the car is parked there.
Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Danner?
Mayor, if you could, what does the hospital intend to use that land for?
Currently, the land that is there is part of the hospital land, but at some future date, I'm sure they'll be looking at an expansion in that area, and they didn't want to lock them in. The park and ride, they wanted a more long-term commitment on it, and the hospital's not willing to do that at this time.
So how many years out?
I don't have a clue.
But soon enough, they gotta give up the park and ride.
They give up the area there to go down to the other area. That is correct.
Are there any other questions? Seeing none, I assume you're ready to vote. If you're in favor, press your yes button. Opposed, your no button, and confirm your vote. Anyone wishing to change your vote, do so at this time. Ms. Anderson, record the vote, please.
21 yes, 0 no.
Okay, resolution passes. Resolution 10-17-15, requested by the County Mayor's Office. Resolution declaring certain Williamson County-owned real property located at the corner of 2nd Avenue North and Bridge Street in the city of Franklin surplus property, and authorizing the sale of the property at public auction or by any other permissible means. Commissioner Webb?
Move for approval.
Second.
Commissioner Webb, the motion. Commissioner Dwight Jones, the second. Property Committee?
4-4-0 against.
Budget Committee?
5-4-0 against.
Explanation, Mr. Commissioner Webb?
You'll see we have a piece of property. There was a Google Earth or some photo laying on your desk tonight. You can see the location of this property, and it's deemed surplus. This gives the mayor the authority to go ahead and try to sell this.
Commissioner Danner?
Where can we get a list of all the property that's not necessarily being utilized by the county that might be like this that we could sell?
Mayor?
Commissioner, I'm not sure that we have a great deal. I'll look at it and see. This piece of property was a result of us selling the J.L. Clay Center and the short property, and that one kind of, it's just like a quarter of an acre. Isn't it about a quarter of an acre?
Yes.
It's not very much. We own a lot of slivers of roads where the road goes through, but so much of the property we've got, it doesn't have a high value. But if you want a list of all of the property that we've got, we can provide that for you with all the buildings and everything. But that won't show you the vacant. A lot of it's like when a road goes through, they may need
Yeah.
a little bit more. You know what I'm talking
No,
about?
I'm looking for bigger pieces,
Yeah.
but that's good. I'm glad we're selling that. Good.
That's how we came across this property when those discussions came about. Got with our asset accountant and asked her to go through our inventory. And this piece of property kind of popped up. And like the mayor said, the others are
Yeah.
ditches or,
Yeah.
things that aren't just really sellable.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Bethard?
I'm just trying to get, and I think I may have found it by Googling it myself. I thought this was the coffee shop, but that's across the street, is that correct?
That is correct, Commissioner.
And is this just that sliver next to the,
There's a
I think there's an
used to be
antique
a
store
White
there?
House. You know where the park was in the pavilion?
Mhm, mhm.
If you were going towards Franklin,
Right.
it's that parking lot directly across from the antique shop right there on Second Avenue.
Oh, okay.
There's been several businesses or people parking there, so we thought we'd see if somebody might want it.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I assume you're ready to vote. If you're in favor, press your yes button, opposed your no button, and confirm your vote. Anyone wishing to change your vote, do so at this time. Ms. Anderson, record the vote, please.
21 yes, 0 no.
Resolution passes. I believe that concludes our agenda. Are there any other announcements or any?
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Bethard?
I received a text during the meeting from my counterpart, Brandon Ryan, just wanting everybody to know that he's on vacation, but regrets not being able to be here tonight.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, several of you have asked me, next month will be a very lengthy meeting, if we can get it all put together, but we will be bringing forth the sales tax referendum, because I understand there are some people would like to know that, so we'll be bringing that in the month of November. And we will also have you a date pegged out of when that election will have to occur. It's between 75 and 90. So we will put that date out there for you also. And just to let you know, because there's been a lot of conversation about it from the page people, as well as when are we going to do it. So we're looking somewhere around the end of January, 1st of February, whatever those days add out to be.
Is there anything else? Entertain a motion to adjourn. We are adjourned. All right, made it through that one.